So in this video, I want to show how we generated 127 local business leads for a B2B company in 2 months. And the methods I'm going to show you in this video are applicable to any sort of local business you want to target, whether it's restaurants, hotels, real estate, whatever the case is, as long as it's a local business, this method will work and it will generate you a lot of leads in a very short period of time. So my name is Nicholas and I'm the CEO of Scalesprint.io. We are certified Instantly.ai experts. This is the biggest cold emailing tool in the world. So we know a thing or two about setting up cold email campaigns. We have tons of clients in the B2B space and a lot of them who target local business leads. So what I'm going to show here is a few examples from this client that we helped. And for context, they're in the payment space and they're working with local businesses. These are two different campaigns that we ran for different targets. And as you can see here, the first one, 973 sequences were started. So this is like individual leads that were contacted. We got a 2.4% reply rate and 56.5% positive reply rate. So of all who replied, over half of them were interested. And the other one we did here, we did 1,000 contacts, 1.4% reply rate, but we got a 78.6% positive reply rate. If we total together all the campaigns we ran for this client, it was 127 leads. So I'm going to show you exactly how we actually did that. And so the video is going to cover how we get the data, how we verify the data, how we automate the sending, and then the scripts that we use for these emails. So on the data side of things, if you want local leads, again, whether it's restaurants, real estate agents, chiropractors, dentists, whatever the case may be, a great tool for this purpose that we use is Outscraper. So this can be accessed at outscraper.com, and it can scrape local businesses directly from Google Maps. Essentially what you do is you enter a niche and a location. So this could be roofing companies in Dallas, and it will essentially give you everything you need. So business name, website, emails, phone numbers, social links, and even reviews and ratings. And you can do some very interesting things with that data. You can actually put this into a data enrichment tool like Clay, and you can actually mention reviews in the emails that you send out. Now, this is a bit beyond the scope of this video, but this is something we do for clients, and it's a very interesting use case for this data too. So we use pretty much this data to create hyper-targeted, local-ready, data-rich lead lists in minutes instead of hours. So you don't have to have an SDR kind of manually finding all these different leads. This is 10 times faster. And you don't have to cry over spreadsheets. You don't need to have somebody actually go through all this data manually. So this is a very good resource. But the thing that's important to remember is that a lot of the emails that you're pulling when you're doing a scrape with Outscraper, they're not actually valid. And so what you need to do is you need to find an external verification tool where you can input the final list to verify the email addresses that you're getting. You must verify them. This is extremely important. If you don't do this, the campaigns are not going to work. It's going to bounce and you're going to have major issues with email deliverability. We recommend using millionverifier.com. This is a great tool. It has great pricing. It's very simple to use. So you simply upload your list. It'll tell you which emails are valid. You can download the list of valid emails and you can delete all the rest. And then you will enjoy low bounce rate, high deliverability email addresses that you can safely send emails to. The next thing is automating the sending. So you obviously don't want to send out these emails manually. You want to completely automate the sending process. We recommend using Instantly.ai. This is the number one cold email tool on the market right now. It is a lot better than some of the legacy tools on the market like Apollo and HubSpot, etc. There's a bunch of reasons for this. One of them being their great email warm-up pool. They also have AI-powered spin tags to avoid spam filters. They have one inbox that aggregates and consolidates all replies you're getting from campaigns, and they have a very good AI inbox manager that learns everything about your company and can reply. And this is not like this, these are actually very good replies that it produces. Very easy to use, super intuitive. And then you can set up all your campaigns and your sequences and your follow-ups. And then you can also see real-time reporting. So you can see the actual like live data, like what are the responses coming in, how many emails are being sent, what's the reply rate, etc., etc. So it's a great tool, and this is how I recommend you set up the automation. Now, you do also need email accounts for the sending. Don't connect your main email account or even your main domain at all on Instantly.ai. You want to essentially create new email accounts under a new domain. and with new email accounts. And again, this is a bit out of the scope of this particular video. There are a lot of ways to do that, and I can create a separate video on how we set up email inboxes and domains for our clients. The last part I want to cover is the email scripts. So once you have the data, you've set up the automation, you have your email accounts connected to the automation tool, and it's time to start setting up the campaigns. We recommend following these steps when you're sending out to local businesses. Typically, and this is obviously kind of generalizing, but when you're sending to these types of people, it will typically be kind of business owners opening these emails, and they are not very patient. You need to really get to the point. You need to have an outcome that is crystal clear. You need also typically a number they can visualize, like how can this actually make their day-to-day easier? How can they make more revenue? How can they improve their margins, etc.? Whatever the kind of value proposition of your company is. Also, a timeline associated with that. So, if that's possible, you want to mention that too. How can it show effort removed or time saved? And then also, would a stranger be able to read this email and say, that's a no-brainer? Then for the hook, does the first line speak to a pain point or desired outcome? Is it something that grabs their attention immediately? Is the hook under 12 words? Does it feel like a human wrote it? And does it create curiosity? When it comes to the structure and tone, is the email under 75 words? You want to definitely avoid also big blocks of text. Does it use clear, plain language? Does it avoid any sort of industry jargon you don't want to mention? I see a lot of, we work with some marketing agencies, and they like to mention ROAS, return on ad spend, and stuff like that. But you really want to try to avoid all this like typical jargon that's associated with sales emails, and just keep it super, super clear. You want to actually have it to the point where a 12-year-old could understand the value. That's how obvious you got to make the value in these emails. And also making it conversational, not overly formal. You want to have a clear call to action, like what do they actually have to do to move this forward? That needs to be extremely clear for the prospect. Depending on how strong your offer is, you can go with a low friction call to action where you just say open to exploring or something like that. But if you have a very strong offer, you can actually go ahead and just directly pitch the call in the first email. You don't want to send your link in the first email due to deliverability reasons. You want to just say, can I send my calendar link? And then if they respond, you can send your calendar link. Also, you have to ask yourself if the call to action kind of matches the tone of the email. The last section here is the follow-ups. Obviously, you want to have a follow-up plan. You want to automate your follow-ups with Instantly and make sure that you're adding new info in each follow-up to keep them interested, to potentially nurture them into actually booking a call. So this is pretty much the basic structure. These are the fundamentals of setting up outreach from for local businesses. This is not getting this number here, 127, is not magic. This is actually very strong adherence to the basic principles, to just doing the basics super, super well. And that's the philosophy we have with our clients. We don't like to put a lot of fluff in our service. We like to really just keep it lean. We like to get straight to the bone and really optimize for having strong, solid fundamentals. And that's how we got this result. So if you want us to pretty much set up this entire thing for you, so literally doing everything I've mentioned here, making sure we're following best practices and getting everything right, there's no issues with deliverability, there's no issues with scripts or data or anything, I'll leave a link for our calendar in the description, and you can book a meeting with us to talk with us. Or if you don't want to have a meeting right now, you can also go to www.scalesprint.io and watch essentially the video sales letter I've made on that website, which will walk you through everything we do and how it works, and also the pricing. So thanks for watching and have a great day.